Hi, Kevin Blanch. You ever been driving to the record store or the butcher or to the tailor or to the hardware store or to get your shoes fixed and they tell you they've moved and they're somewhere over by the Walmart and there's 10 Walmarts in your town and you don't know which one, so you're driving around, you get over in front of it and you're parked in front of the Walmart, you got to get across and it's like a fucking herd of meandering fucking buffalo. Or meandering real slow and they're just herds and herds, big old buffalo fucking heads. Freaking meandering across with fucking herds of fucking young buffalo, and you sit there and you sit there. It's kind of like when you're at Yellowstone and that herd of buffalo goes there and you just kind of sit there and you get a little impatient. One of them big old buffaloes looks at you like that and you're like, oh God. Well, when that happens and then you see the one big queen buffalo over there with a head about that big and you know, she got these freaking low-riding pants on and a beer belly that big and 2 tattoos on her that big and you're like, you know, she's meandering. She's got about 6 ones that are about this tall and about that big. And you're like, do you mind? Do you mind? And she looks at you. She comes over to that big old head and punches you through the glass, through the window, in the mouth, tips your freaking car over, and all the little ones sit and jump on it. I hate it when that happens. Well, anyway, I'm going to talk about gas prices today. I'm going to talk about derivatives. I'm going to talk about the debt. Finance, my strong point. Look. When we get into the gas price, everybody's like, oh God, gas, this price, barrel of oil is $1.10. There's one thing. I was a derivative trader for years and years and years. Very successful derivative trader. In the 80s and the 90s, I balanced my plastic career and my derivative trading career together my whole life. I started trading derivatives at 14 years old. I became very sophisticated at hypothesizing things forward. I still can do it. I've had a gift for it ever since I was young because of my experience derivative trading. We have to hypothesize and we have to be right. Look, when I was on Wall Street, like I said, I was extremely successful. I had one number one tool and I still use it to this day. Now, I'm not on Wall Street anymore. I haven't been for a long time. And a lot of people don't know this. But all the good hedge funds, like the ones I work for, we got replaced with computers. I was a derivative arbitrage specialist. People don't know. And all these so-called hedge funds, everybody's calling themselves hedge funds, and everybody in America hates these hedge funds. They're no fucking more. They're not hedge funds. Please, they are not. They're freelance scammers that were set up all over the country. They weren't on fucking Wall Street. Some of them were, but not most of them. Yeah, the Bernie Madoffs, they were in New York City. He was a freelance scammer. He wasn't a Wall Street guy. Bernie Madoff was not a Wall Street guy. He was set up in the lipstick building over there. He was a freelance scammer, just like Southwick was here. This guy, I mean, every community has them. You guys know that. And these people just inked up. Oh, they're guaranteed 10%. Most of them did it through religion. This guy did it through the Mormon religion. Bernie Madoff did it through the Jewish community. Hedge funds, real hedge funds, are not, it's literally the word, hedging a fund. We buy high dividend stocks, buy the derivative under it, which is very sophisticated, knowing how to roll it and timing. It's really an art. Well, these guys got smart, replaced us with PhDs building Matrix. That's where the flash crashes come from. They got the same fucking nerds running them all. We all fucking lost our jobs. Wall Street's been desecrated. You go to the New York Stock Exchange floor, it's like a museum. So, but anyway, I had my number one tool was the euro. Before there was a euro. I used to sit down and break down every single currency in Europe and put it all together and build me a basket, which a lot of Wall Street, you guys, you know, people don't know how good you got it. You could punch a freaking button and do all that. This shit, we had to crunch through it and grind through it. I mean, I learned how to freaking shift F7. That's a whole other story. I write a lot about it in my book, about going through that whole process, and it was all invented here in Utah. But anyway, I used to basket. When the euro come out, I was like, yes, I won't have to do it. They're doing it for me. Okay, you look at the euro today. It's $1.44 today against the dollar. Do you realize what it was while Clinton was president at the end of the 90s? And it kills me how all these Clinton haters out there. You know, granted, he was pro-NAFTA. That's the one thing I don't like about him. But he did a lot of good things, The euro was 70 cents, 80 cents. I went to a meeting in Manhattan with my boss. I'll never forget it. And the guy that was running one of the major banks was speaking on the subject of the euro. He says, we hope one day to be trading equal to the dollar. Okay, we invade Iraq. Our freaking euro goes from 70, 80 cents to $1.60. Okay, Obama gets reelected. It starts to reel down. It reels down to $1.20. Here come the neocon Kool-Aid freaking right nutcase Republicans back $1.44. Look, let me explain to you why. People on Wall Street, you watch NBC, you automatically presume the Republicans do better with the market. It's so untrue. It's easy, quantifiable. Look what the markets do under the Democrats. Look what the markets do under the Republicans. There's no comparison. So you say, why? Why do they want it like that? Why do they want the power? It's easy. It's very easy. They're not about growth. They're about scamming you out of your money. 99.9% of your so-called Wall Street corporate elites, Wall Street elites are Republicans. Why? Not the philosophy, because they know there is no regulation. They could scam and they could scam and they could scam. They know, they full well know. I've had discussions with many of them. My old boss, hard dug in Republican. He knew, he says, yeah, the markets do much, much better for the masses than the Democrats, but we're not the masses. They're evil scumbag freaking creeps, and they like control and they like to scam you. Without regulation, there's no scam. The SEC is as corrupt as they get. Don't kid yourself. I was on Wall Street. They're so sickeningly freaking... Well, they're idiots. Any freaking big Wall Street firm who finds out there's a young SEC attorney who's sharp as a tack, they just go offer him triple and hire him away. And, say, hey, what do I do when they hire him? They tell him, you don't do nothing. Take your wife and here, go stay in our bungalow in Vienna. That's the way it works. Now, in the case of the gasoline prices, let's go back to 1990. Okay? If the euro was still at 70, 80 cents, which it would have been if we wouldn't have invaded Iraq. And let's not even get off of Afghanistan. What the fuck we're doing over there? 10 years looking for one fucking man? Bullshit. Bullshit. What a scam that is on the American public. If we don't go in, let's say the fucking... I'm sure the dollar would still be sitting there. What does that put freaking a barrel of oil? What are we, $1.11 today? $1.10? 55? I mean, the euro's double from what it is. And the euro is a very good indicator. And you can do this with all currencies. Who would ever believe the United States dollar is equal to the Canadian dollar in our lifetime? Look what... is to the yen, my God. So that's what it's all about. That's where the inflation... Everybody says, oh, I was talking to an actuary when I was in Manhattan not very long ago, and he's like, you know what, Kev? You haven't seen inflation. I'm like, kid, where have you been? Let's talk about it. In the late 90s, this is what good finance guys do. This is what good... We wait. We use baskets. We wait what your money can buy. Traditional one's gold. Everybody says, well, goddamn, I bought gold when Obama got elected. Boy, that did you some fucking good, you dumb fucker. Why didn't you fucking buy gold when Bush got elected? You'd have made some money then. You haven't made shit buying gold when Obama got elected. You sold your fucking crowd in one of the endowments that I managed. These dumb fuckers, that's why I quit. I was on their board. I resigned. I got outvoted 8-1. They would not hedge their portfolio. Oh, we got GE, we got all these said. I says, there is no safe stocks. And I've got records all over that I call this thing freaking coming down. When Merrill Lynch crashed, Bear Stearns, I says, Merrill Lynch has got the same thing. I bought some in my own account. I bought some derivatives. Hell, I made enough off $1,000 to live for 2 years off that freaking evil fucking crash. Look, the Dow and these things are tied to hard commodities. Gold was $225 an ounce in the late 90s. Silver, $4 or $5. A barrel of oil, $12, $14, $15. You could go on and on. In my book, I build a matrix. I call it the Kevin D. Blanch Weighted Wealth Matrix. Look, we've had inflation since Bush got elected. I mean, it started to heat up right before he got elected. Remember, Greenspan should have been raising. That is the role of the Fed. That is the only role of the Fed. Now, I'm in the middle of writing a book about, and I knew him personally. He knew me by name. Mariner Eccles, the second greatest economist in the history of this country. I'm in the middle of writing a book about him. But anyway, that is their role. That is the Fed role. That is their only role to control inflation. When things heat up, you raise rates. You don't lower them. So these guys have lowered rates and lowered rates when they should have been rising. So they're out of bullets now. When we had the thing, look at Japan. They need to lower rates. They can't. Seriously, do you know Japan has a negative interest rate? So here's what they do. Negative 2, I do in jest and joke about this. Negative 2% interest rate. Okay, these low interest rate. But they work with the credit scoring agencies so that you can't get your hands on. The only people that get their hands at the 0% interest rate is the corporations that are exploiting us and taking their jobs to fucking China. And the way the system is with free market trade around the world, all they're going to do is go to wherever the cheapest fucking labor is. China's fucking 20 cents an hour. South Korea goes 10, they'll jump over there. It's slavery all over again. I compare and contrast to the antebellum South. This is pure slavery all over again. We're doing it right here in the U.S. When a guy's paying fucking a contract, paying $10, $20 out of his wallet to pay a guy cash to mow his lawn or to freaking work on his stucco crew or plastic crew, that is slavery. He is a slave master. Stay with me. I'm going to pour into this more and more as far as the finance world. That is why your gas prices, the weakness of the dollar. Why is the dollar weak? Not Obama. Iraq. The Congressional Budget Office alone says the long-term cost on this is well over $30 trillion. Do the math. You fuckers want to fucking pull PBS and NPR and fucking Planned Parenthood? Well, let's jerk their saying. They're ideologues, and the Tea Party is nothing more than Republicans. Don't kid yourself. They're fucking Republicans. Fuck it. All right. I'll get back to this.